Alex Pereira just brutally knocked out Jiri Prochazka in the UFC 303 main event. Oh my word, this is my official recap of the main event, Alex Pereira versus Jiri Prochazka. What an incredible performance from Alex Pereira. I don't even know what to say about him. I don't know what to say about him. How good is Alex Pereira? I picked Jiri Prochazka to win this fight. I did. I will say that. I think Jiri, didn't do the things I wanted him to, and Alex took complete advantage of that. I think it was undoubtedly Alex Pereira's best ever performance in the UFC. Round one, Alex controlled the fight. He stayed in the middle of the octagon. He blasted those low kicks. I feel like those low kicks affected Jiri more in this fight compared to the first fight. He stayed in the center of the cage. He stayed in kickboxing range. He didn't allow Jiri to back him up. He didn't allow Jiri to throw the 1-2. He was landing the jab. Alex Pereira's jab looked better than it ever has. The low kicks, as I said, seemed more effective from Jiri, or from Alex Pereira, excuse me. And then at the end of the first round, Alex Pereira landed a flush left hook on the chin of Jiri Prochazka, and it dropped him at the bell. If it was 5 seconds earlier, that fight's finished. Jiri's fighting with his hands down as he usually does, and Alex catches him with a picture-perfect left hook, and it drops him. And you could clearly see that Jiri was shook. Jiri was shook. He went back to the corner. He was bounced around. He was doing his weird little thing, but he was definitely shook. And then at the start of that second round, 10, 15 seconds in, Jiri Prochazka's fighting with his hands down. I don't even know if he's there. I don't know if he was there at all. He might have been on a different planet. And then Alex Pereira just blasts the left high kick, and it brutally KOs Jiri Prochazka. A few more ground and pound shots, and that's all she flippin' wrote. Jiri was gone, dude. Did you guys see Jiri after Herb Dean stopped it? Bro was gone. He was absolutely gone. How good is Alex Pereira? How good was that? It was flawless. He didn't get hit. He fought at his range. He fought at his tempo. He didn't let Jiri, get going with anything. Jiri had a few clinch moments in the first round. Alex is super defensively sound in the clinch and in the wrestling defense. Jiri didn't do anything there, and then it eventually broke, and Alex found that left hook. But picture perfect from Alex Pereira. In my opinion, quite easily the best performance of his UFC career. You could look at the fights with Sean Strickland, sure, but this was just the moment. It was at another level, and he completely exceeded my expectations. I thought Jiri would at least have some fucking moments, but he didn't. Alex Pereira completely shut him down. You could look at that, that first fight with Israel Adesanya. Izzy was winning that fight, and Alex won at the end with that KO. You could look at the Jan Blachowicz fight. Now credit to Jan Blachowicz, because that was the closest fight of his career. That could have gone either way. So credit to Jan Blachowicz. That performance from him is marinating quite well. You can look at the first Jiri performance, and I think this one is 10 times better. 10 times better. Alex controlled the octagon. He didn't, get backed up from Jiri. He didn't let Jiri throw the 1-2. The leg kick seemed more effective. His jab seemed even better. He hurt him in multiple rounds, and then he eventually finished it off with that high kick with the left leg. And as I said in my prediction video, I know I predicted Jiri to win, but I did say I wouldn't be all too surprised if Alex Pereira gets a head kick knockout, and that is exactly what he did. The best performance from Alex Pereira so far in the UFC. He keeps evolving at 36 years young. He put on the best performance of his career, as I said. As for Jiri Prochazka, he looked completely lost, man. He looked completely lost. I don't know if it was the shaman black magic, if it was the aura that was just pushing him back. Could he feel the aura through Alex Pereira? I don't know, but he looked lost out there. He absolutely looked worse in this fight compared to the first one. He looked very tentative. He wasn't really throwing the shots I wanted to. He wasn't, forcing the action. He wasn't pushing forward. He wasn't throwing that 1-2, because you could look throughout Alex Pereira's career, he's been susceptible to the 1-2. Jiri barely threw it. He wasn't backing up Alex, as I said. He wasn't using his feints. I feel like his feints is what makes Jiri Prochazka, because he's so unpredictable, and he just wasn't feinting. He wasn't faking the level change. He looked very tentative out there. I don't know if he was, as I said, worried about the black magic. That could definitely be a possibility. I don't know if it was the previous KO got to him. Maybe that's why Jiri started talking about black magic and all this shit, because he was low-key, his mind was kind of fucked from the first knockout, but he looked completely lost out there, and he let Alex Pereira control the fight, and that's simply what you cannot do against fuck Jiri, man. What are we doing, man? We could have got a trilogy, but we're not anymore. He just let Alex Pereira control a kickboxing match. What the fuck do you think's gonna happen? Jiri, I thought, would at least look a little bit better. Jiri looked worse. Jiri looked terrible. The worst performance of his UFC career. It was a bad loss from Jiri. I don't know where he goes from here. Does he fight a Jamal Hill? I feel like that fight makes kind of sense, but say Jiri beats Jamal Hill. What do we do after that? Say Jamal Hill beats Jiri. What do we do after that? Alex is dominating these guys, and we're left at a point where it's like, what do we do? And I have that solution. I have that solution. And I'll get to that in a little bit. But the things that Alex Pereira has done in 2 years with the UFC is simply unheard of. It is unbelievable what Alex Pereira has done. It's I don't even know the word. You can't replicate it. That's what I'm trying to say. You cannot replicate it. He's been in the UFC for 2 years, and the wins he has already: Sean Strickland, Israel Adesanya, Jan Blachowicz, Jiri Prochazka, Jamal Hill, Jiri Prochazka. What? Those are incredible names for being in the UFC for 2 years. Some guys don't even fight 6 times in 2 years. Most guys probably don't. Most guys don't fight 6 times a year, and he's beaten those guys 6 times. And now, at this point in his career, at 36 years young, as I said, I could quite confidently, insert him into my top 10 UFC fighters of all time. And I am confident of that. What he has done, you cannot replicate it. You cannot replicate it. And yes, I'm going to say it as well. I think he is the greatest striker that the UFC has ever seen, surpassing a guy like Israel Adesanya, who I will come to in a moment. He has surpassed Anderson Silva. If Anderson Silva and Alex Pereira fought, Alex Pereira is fucking knocking that dude into the shadow realm. I don't give a fuck. Alex Pereira is the greatest striker in UFC history, and I don't really think it's up for a debate anymore. I really do not believe so. And as I said earlier, I don't want to compare the two, but I feel like Alex Pereira has surpassed Israel Adesanya's legacy in the UFC. I do. When you compare wins, when you compare performances, I know Izzy got that KO win, which is huge, but when you compare performances, when you compare names, it's all Alex Pereira. He's been a champion in 2 weight classes, and I think he is a top 10 UFC fighter of all time. Of all time, you cannot replicate what Alex Pereira has done. He is one of a kind. He's the face of the UFC in 2 years. I am so happy we got Alex Pereira versus Jiri Prochazka instead of fucking Conor McGregor and Michael Chandler. Conor McGregor and Michael, are you serious? Throw that shit in the dumpster. Like Kobe, get that shit in the dumpster. We don't care. We do not care. Alex Pereira continues to show why he is the face of the UFC. And I'm looking at my phone right now, and it's a tweet about Dana White talking about Alex Pereira fighting at heavyweight. And I cannot read the end, but he says, we'll see how things play out. So it is a possibility. And I do want to get onto that because Alex is now open to fighting at heavyweight. Fuck Stipe Miocic. Fuck I love you, Tom Aspinall, but fuck Tom Aspinall and fuck John Jones. We need John Jones versus Alex Pereira. Arguably, you could argue, the biggest fight in UFC history. and absolutely the most historic fight in UFC history. Alex Pereira goes up to become the first and only three weight division champion. And I think he brutally KOs Jon Jones. I think he's going to be faster than Jon Jones. I think he's going to be stronger than Jon Jones. Jon Jones has never seen anything like Alex Pereira. Alex Pereira has shown he has fantastic grappling and wrestling defense. And I think Jon Jones is going to be too slow, too stuck in the cement, and Alex Pereira would finish Jon Jones inside 2 rounds. I don't give a fuck about his 84.5-inch reach. Alex Pereira is the best striker on earth, and he'd brutally KO Jon Jones at heavyweight and become the first ever 3-weight division champion. I don't know what else to say, man. Alex Pereira, I'm just glazing him the entire video, but like, what the fuck else do you want me to do? I'm gonna glaze the shit out of this man because he's him. He's literally him. He's a dog. He's a BMF. Saving this card on short notice. I'm also going to post my full breakdown of the entire card. It should be up in the morning. I'm going to record it after this, but, you know, I'll set a time for it to be uploaded. But I'll get that out, and I'm going to talk about, you know, guys like Ian Machado Gary, Diego Lopez, Dan Ige, fucking dogs, straight dogs. But this video is solely for Alex Pereira and me just glazing the shit out of him, and that's okay. That is okay. Who's hating on an Alex Pereira glaze video? Not me. Not this guy. Alex Pereira brutally KOs Jiri Prochazka in the second round with a head kick and certifies himself as the greatest striker in UFC history and the face of the UFC. Let me know what you guys think of this fight and the entire card in the comments. Follow for more, subscribe for more. Help me get to 1,000 subscribers. I will be posting on this account every other day at the minimum. I will be posting a UFC fights to make or UFC 303 fights to make tomorrow as well. So subscribe for that. I appreciate you guys. Alex Pereira is the motherfucking man. Peace out.